Welcome to the Rise Above Show, presented by RoofCON. My name is Diego Dante, and I'm thrilled to bring you inspiring conversations with some of the most innovative and bright minds in our industry. From business and entrepreneurship to personal development and growth, we'll explore the strategies, insights, and stories that have helped our guests rise above challenges, overcome adversity, and achieve their goals. So sit back, relax, and join us on this journey of empowerment, inspiration, and discovery. This is the Rise Above Show. Welcome to the Rise Above Show, presented by RoofCON. My name is Diego Dante. I'm here with my friend Tim Brown. How you doing, my friend?
Doing very well. Thank you for having me on, brother.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to do this. So for anyone that's watched, I'm sure by this time we've already posted the episode with Michael O'Donnell, #1 salesperson for solar in the world, sells a crap ton of solar. But I had an interview with him, and I told him that his episode was #1 in streams for audio. And then I went back and looked at the statistics, and actually I was wrong. And it was Tim's that was #1, and Michael's #2 on there. So it's an honor to have you. Glad to have you back. By this point, you're going to become a recurring guest on the show. So I'm excited.
I'd be happy to be a recurring guest. That's crazy that we had the top one. So I love it.
And I feel like I've interviewed all the marketing people too. So
yeah. It's just you never know what Tim's going to say. You know?
Well, I'm excited to do this because we're going to talk. This is one of the things when you've interviewed a lot of marketing people too, what happens is you start asking a lot of the same questions. And so I said, I don't want to do the same, the same questions we ask everyone. Yeah. We want to start getting a little different and ask some different questions. So what we wanted to do was, all right, how can we make this something that's going to be super valuable to the people that are watching and just something that we just haven't, that people haven't gone over before, or that we haven't gone over on our show before. So I'm excited to do this. So what we wanted to talk about was how, as a business owner or leader in an organization, how can we empower our sales staff to be able to generate their own leads in different ways than what some of the things that we would always think of, right? Like everyone says, oh, okay, go knock more doors or go do this and that. But what are some of the different things that people aren't thinking about? And you've interviewed a bunch of people, and you're going on different tours and meeting a lot of people. I've ran a company, I've done sales, worked with a lot of people through Revolt and RoofCON. So we just figured that we'd be able to come together and think of a few things. I want to just pick 3 big, ways that we can empower salespeople with some lead gen tactics.
And this comes a little bit from a problem that I see talking to roofing company owners, and I've worked with roofing company owners for a long time with their marketing, and some of them we're close, and they have pain around this topic of lead babies, as they might call them. And by the way, Diego, I do have some lead babies headed your way.
Oh, awesome.
Right now. So as you're listening, I've got a sour candy that's like, what is that? Sour Patch Kids, but it's lead babies. And by the way, this label was made by AI. Isn't that hilarious?
That's funny.
It was actually made by AI. All I did was change out the text. But Mid-Journey.
Okay, can I say something before you say anything else? You guys have the best promo items.
Thank you, man.
Y'all killed it. You've inspired me actually to start on my windowsill right here. I'm starting to put in what I feel are the most interesting promo items that I've received.
Yeah.
And maybe once we get to the end, we'll show some of these.
Sure.
And we'll put them in as if you're listening in on the audio, I'll say this will get added in at the end for some of the for the people that want to go watch on video, okay?
And I love doing promo items. It's super fun. I'm trying to have fun with our marketing, you know what I mean? I do a lot of experiments, and I'm trying to keep myself interested because I'm a marketer and I know how to do, SEO, PPC websites. I'm pretty good at these things, and I basically am borderline master at them. Really, I'm not. I'm just saying you get bored after you master something. So I'm trying to move on to like commercials and promotion items that kind of coordinate. So that's the fun thing, is like making your marketing kind of fit together. But this problem of lead babies, what is it essentially? What is the problem of lead babies at the end of the day? It's not feeling like your team is putting in as much effort as you are, in a way. Like that's people, it's basically the owner, and I love you guys, the owners, but it's a little bit of the owner being like kids these days, like they don't want to work. You know what I mean? That's the fundamental problem that we're up against, and I find myself having those same thoughts, so I empathize. I'm not saying you're a bad guy because you're annoyed with lead babies. That's not it. What I want to say is like we want to empower those salespeople, and maybe they can help a little bit with marketing. Yes, they should be door knocking at least around jobs. Yes, whatever activities you set out there for sales or canvassing, and some people consider canvassing and door-to-door marketing. But the point is what else can we do that can help them contribute? Because sometimes, like for instance, in the North, and I know it's a little different, but like North and Midwest, we have winters where it's weird to door knock. Like it's like really cold. It's kind of a ridiculous, it's almost a ridiculous premise to sit around door knocking in the middle of the winter. Especially when we can't put on roofs, for a couple months, in the very cold months, it's not appropriate to put on roofs. It's just like there's certain things with the adhesive and stuff like that. So what I have done though is I'm studying roofing, and I don't get to apply all these things directly to my business because it's not a roofing business, but there's some really good ideas out there by some very smart people, including the first one I want to share with you, which is from John Cenac. And it's basically understanding that we want to get more referrals from every homeowner. And you can empower your sales reps by giving them, first of all, maybe 5 to 10 gift cards. And let's say the $25 or $50 gift cards. And you're saying, I want you to give these to a homeowner. And you could try it yourself too if you're, an owner, salesperson. You give them to the homeowner and you say, can I get one referral? One. So you make it a small ask today. So it's now. It's not like in the future at some point. And from a neighbor. So it's close, proximity wise. So one, now, and a neighbor. So it's very close, and it feels easy to do because it's a simple ask. And then once they give it to you, then you give them a gift card. And there's more where that came from, by the way. We'd love to give you more. So you're seeding this pot, whether it's after the sale is made or after an install is completed. I think that this is a really good way to start empowering salespeople to get more deals out of the leads that you give them. And I care. This is why I care. This is because I want our leads to go further. The things that we're doing for lead generation for our clients, I want them to do more of these types of activities for that reason. Because, if every deal can become, let's say on average 1.3 deals, that's a better, what in marketing we call lifetime value. So like LTV for short, like lifetime value can include referrals that come from a homeowner. So then the average lifetime value can be higher. And then the way more advanced strategy that I cannot in good conscience tell you is going to work for everyone, but it's very interesting nonetheless. Dan Walreck, the $18 million roofing salesperson from Built Strong here in Minnesota, and that's like
shout out. He's going to be at RoofCON.
Yes, and he's incredible. Once you meet him, I think you'll understand. Okay, I get how this guy did 18 million, because I think people are skeptical, and it's only like $2 million commercial or multifamily. So that's like an important caveat, because I know people that have done much more than that on commercial, but mostly residential. Just wild if you think about it. But once you see some of the stuff that he's doing, you're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And this is just one of the things that he's doing. So I think you should come to RoofCon to hear a ton of his strategies, which they're all really good and incredibly inspiring. And they'll make you a better person, because it's like with community and stuff like that. But one of his things is he actually has the homeowner bring him to the neighbors.
Yeah.
Bring him to the neighbor. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And he has pictures of himself with like, this is the wild part, with like 8 or 9 homeowners on a stoop. And he's passing out paperwork to sign. I'm sure it's in a contingency agreement. It doesn't matter. He's signing 8 deals at once. You know, like it's just a wild premise, but it's almost
And,
like
and you know,
presumption.
we
Yeah.
might crack up listening to this. Like it
Yeah.
sounds kind of funny, but the dude just sold 18 million, 16 million residential, right? 18 million
Yeah.
total. And so it works,
Yeah.
regardless of what you want to say about it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Actually, it's weird. But like it's this it's almost like an incentive, like he like has a positive sense of entitlement. If they got their roof paid for by a storm, then obviously, like, if I'm talking to the home, like, obviously you'd want to share that with your neighbor. Do you like your neighbor? Let's go talk to him. Like, this is awesome. This is good news. We're sharing the good news of the storm probably will pay for your roof. So it's kind of like that snowball effect happens. And I don't think he's usually doing it to 8 homeowners at once, but even just having people like do a warm introduction to their neighbor
A
is an
warm introduction
incredible
to your
yeah.
next door neighbor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main premise here. Obviously, you kind of got to have like a good chunk of charisma to be able to pull off what Dan Walrek is doing. But I ultimately think he's got a lot of great strategies that culminate in that $18 million number. By the way, and for people that want to check him out at RoofCon, to note, he's been doing consistently like 4 or 5 million at least for years and years on end, and then a storm hit. That's, you know, and
Right.
you know, another interesting part is his family is a little bit involved. Like his wife is almost acting as inside sales. That's an interesting topic too.
I'm super stoked to have him at RoofCon. I think, and
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna be on the multi-million-dollar sales rep panel.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a good time. And we've specifically made it a point to not have a million people on stage at each panel. It's gonna be like 5, 6 max, but my goal is 5 people per panel.
That's good.
So that way we can get the most out of each people on that stage.
I like that you're splitting out the sales and marketing. I feel like the marketing guys, the sales guys are always skeptical of us marketers. So like $20,000 for a website, you know what I mean? Like it's good to split those out. I mean, I have deep respect for sales, but we kind of have a little bit different like mindsets on things.
Well, it's 2 completely
Yeah.
separate stages of the process, right? I mean, you've got your what a lot of people. No, I'm gonna get on a soapbox, and I don't want to do that.
Hey, do it. Do it.
My big thing is that a lot of the times, you know, roofing people that start roofing companies are really good at the fulfillment process, which is the operational piece, and you can become a great roofing company owner if you also understand the other 3 major pieces of business, which would be your marketing, your sales, your fulfillment, your finance.
Accounting? Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you can master or at least have a solid grasp on all 4 of those, doesn't mean you have to be like you don't have to be Tim Brown on marketing, but you have to at least understand marketing enough to be able to keep someone accountable. And then the bonus piece that's going to really help you to scale is leadership on top of all that.
Oh, yeah.
And so where I was headed at with that is putting sales and marketing together in the same one doesn't make sense anymore because you should really like your salespeople should be great salespeople and your marketing people should be great marketing people.
Yeah. And
And
that's something I've been talking a lot about is like, that's a professionalism mindset. It's allowing people to be a professional. That's honestly, that's my soapbox if I have anyone, and I don't need to talk about it for a long time, but it's okay to let people be professionals at something. It's also okay as a business owner that we went through a period where we had to do everything ourselves and had to put all of our blood, sweat, and tears. Like I will bleed for this company, right? Like that's how I feel. I got it tatted on me. Actually, dude, we should do an interlude here. Excuse the randomness of this podcast, but we got accused of being a cult this past week.
Oh,
And
it
I know
sounds
that,
like you guys and us have a lot in common then.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because what is it, Revolt or whatever was, you guys like have been accused, or the group Roofing and Solar Community has been accused of being a cult or something like that. And we got accused of being a cult. It was on LinkedIn. You know how soft LinkedIn is?
Yeah.
But we got tattoos. Like I have a person on my team with a face tat. Like it's not like their first tattoo. But people were really ripping on us. So like, I'm like, dude, I did not ask anyone on my team to get a tattoo. This is a part of their life, and they've been here for years. Some of them like going on like 3-4 years, and they want to. It's like it's a fucking, it's a. And
it looks cool.
Fishing hook. It's not like, and we're Minnesota.
It'd be different if it was like the standard roofing logo that everyone has from,
That's an important discussion too, and we need to cover this before we go. So first of all, we've both been accused.
Let's get into the lead. Let's get into what we're doing here, and then we're gonna have like an interlude at the end. We're
Okay,
gonna get into
at
all
the very end, I needed to ask you a question about RoofCon, and like I need to ask if I can do something at my booth, and I'll ask you what that is. So that's an open loop. All right, let's do the other things. The second one. So
okay, so number one was getting more referrals from
every home.
the homeowners. I'm going to say one thing too, just one last piece on that. I used to work. I worked a marketing job for 7 years before I got into roofing, and right before I was trying to find different sales opportunities because I felt like that was more the way that I wanted to go at the time. And I found a job doing selling Rainbow, or was it Rainbow or one of those vacuums, right? And they were super expensive. And you do the in-home presentations and all that. And one of the things was automatically at the end, it was, hey, we're actually going to give you, I don't remember the amount, we're going to give you $500 off, but what you got to do is here's a sheet, and it's got 10 lines on it, and you've got to give me like 10 people here with their phone numbers, and just put me in a group message with them. And so once you did that, then you get your $500 off.
That's incredible.
That was huge because the second you do that, like you already have the warm lead. And all you have to do, like you don't have to sit in through a presentation. You don't have to do anything. You just got to get me into a group message with them and just introduce me to them.
Dude, that's so realistically possible for roofing companies too. That's beautiful. And you could do any variation on that. I just want to know.
Especially after a storm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the second one I've got is getting more referrals from insurance agents. And I know Matt Danskin kind of owns this idea in roofing, you know what I mean? Like, but it's, a lot of people have done this. I do think people should be doing this. If you're not connecting with more insurance agents, his whole thing is every time you talk to a homeowner, ask them their insurance agent and then connect with them. And he says, go beyond like the lunches and the cookies and the donuts and get into, can I refer this company? Can I get them 2 new customers this year? And he says that's the bar, right? The bar is if you get them 2 more customers this year, you're really likely to earn their ongoing referrals. And we can't just do it to 1. From his perspective, you've got to get 10 and 20. And he has a lot more to that strategy. So if you're interested in diving deeper, definitely take Matt Danskin's course, Restoration Referral System. But I just want to note, and if people aren't doing insurance agent referral strategies, I believe that this is really important. And I also want to say adoption is really important. You can't just study these tactics and tools. Like some people have taken a course before and then not gotten the most out of it. So we need 3 things. Anytime we get a new strategy like this, there's one more strategy, but the second one is insurance agent referrals. We need a why. Hey, we want more insurance agent referrals. We want more business. We want something we can, maybe it's you're in the North or Midwest, and we want something we can do during the winter to increase leads. And maybe that doesn't make sense to door knock for whatever reason. This is a way to do that, right? So it's a good why. So then and what is your why for this? Like in making sure your people know the why, start with why. And then who? So specifically, if we have 10 reps, are we going to start 3 reps doing this? Can we start our top performers doing something like this because we know that they're more persuasive in a situation like this? Who specifically? We need a person, whether it's you as the business owner or we need a couple reps, and we need when. So either it's in the calendar, and I know some roofers are not using their calendar. I'd suggest doing it because it's a beautiful way to kind of block your time a little bit. But in the calendar or like on like every week we have to do 3 of these, and there has to be accountability. We need a rhythm. So it's either a calendar invite or a rhythm and accountability in your sales meeting of who have you connected with. Did you connect with 3? Did you do 3 touches on insurance agents this week? So I do think that really we need the belief in our company, and we need to help. And honestly, maybe I'm not the guy to give you the belief because, Tim is not an insurance referral strategist, but you need to get belief. If you're whatever tactic you're going to do for lead gen or help your guys get more leads, there needs to be belief. You need to have it by doing it yourself first to get the belief, and then giving it to them, or having them on Matt Danskin's system or similar. And there needs to be accountability. So I think belief and accountability are really important, and having it scheduled or having a trigger and checking in on it every week is really, really important.
So I was actually, when I was in roofing, I was a restoration referral system client, and so I just say this. I mean, I'm saying this as someone who has paid him money. Like what he's teaching you works, but yeah, the thing you always got to keep in mind is the people are going to give you referrals, whether it's insurance agents, real estate agents, whatever. You have to create a win-win situation with these people, because you just bringing them donuts, you just doing this, whatever. Like, it's fine, it's a nice gesture, but you're not actually creating a win-win. Versus you bring them clients, like someone is definitely going to be way more willing to help you when you're creating those win-win situations. A good example of that is I've got a realtor buddy of mine that he does a lot of flips, or he's helping people with flips, and every time he does a flip, he gets me to come out and do an inspection on his house or on the roof. And so he's passed over so much work to me that I almost had this obligation when I moved to use him as my realtor, right? And there was never a conversation of like, oh, well, when you move, use me or anything like that, right? It was just a matter of like, he created a win for me, so I just felt like I owed him on that. And it's the same thing with insurance agents. Like, you go create enough wins for these people, they're going to pass you their business as well, because they're almost going to feel obligated to do that.
RoofCON's amazing. Getting to see all the speakers like Nick and Eric, and especially Tim Tebow. Very exciting and eye-opening.
Amazing speakers and great knowledge. Keep it up.
First RoofCON, been following Hunter and the Revolt clan for quite some time, and it's definitely been a lot more than what we expected.
This event is getting better and better.
So if you're going to go to one roofing conference, make sure that it's RoofCON.
RoofCON 2023 returns to Orlando, Florida, November 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets at roofcon.com.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got one more. The last one is that using Facebook groups to get referrals. And my strategy is around referring other people. So yes, you can refer, and you can get your team in there referring your company, like tagging your company and suggesting them, but it doesn't feel quite right. Let's be real. Like, when you see somebody tagging their own company, it doesn't, sometimes they don't know, but when they do know, it's kind of weird. Like, why are you tagging your own company? I mean, you see it in the posts sometimes, even in the roofing posts, where it's like, don't tag your own company, like roofers who have used this company. And I see it for lead gen, like, you guys tell me who's good. And it's, everyone wants more of the people that have used the company. But also, in my case, I often am on the lookout for how I can refer people that can refer me. So I'm referring, let's say, a logo design guy, right? Like, and you could be referring the pest control guy and this fence guy and let's see, you don't do gutters for some reason, like the gutter company, anything around the home exterior, getting really good at referring those companies. And this is not just to get more referrals in Facebook groups, it's to get more referrals from their customers. Because I have, this past year, I had pests control people come out to my house, and he said they often have to refer roofers. Like, I was talking to him about it, and he's like, yeah, we refer a ton of business. We're referring it right now to this one guy who's old and doesn't want to do much. He's like kind of like, he's like at the end of his thing, and he's like, one of those guys that just wants to do $1 million and chill. And that's fine. But like, hey, how can we get that guy to now refer our company instead? Like, can we get a guy that is always inspecting holes in siding to refer us for his, and like sometimes on roofs for siding and roof jobs? Like, so really, the strategy is around getting your sales reps in these Facebook groups to refer, yes, sometimes your company, but other home services businesses, and then tagging the people. So now we have a group of people, not just one guy, because, yeah, it's easy to do this at the beginning with just a roofing company owner, and you should, but then get more and more people. Your team is like the referral engine. Mm-hmm. And like, you could even say, hey, guys, somebody's asking in the Elk River group about pest control. We know our guy. Can we all, like, you could pop it in a group thread on Facebook and just go refer. And you send it to your 7 sales reps, and they all refer the same guy. And now, who is that guy going to refer every time you have a problem, like with siding or roof? So it's just a way to get more referrals back to you by referring a lot in Facebook groups.
Yeah, so we do this. I say we. I'm not climbing roofs anymore, but at Cornerstone, which we share the building with them, and I know all the guys there. Cornerstone uses a lot of the Facebook groups, and what they do is at the beginning they all join the same Facebook groups. Like when they join the company, they're encouraged to go join these local Facebook groups. And what happens is, as soon as someone sees a post, they type their name on it, and if no one else has commented on it from the group, they'll go in, tag their name on it, saying, hey, my name is so-and-so, I work for this company, I'd love to come check out your roof. Then they send it over into the group chat for the whole sales staff, and there's 20 or so sales reps, and then all of them go in and comment, you should go use Trey, you should go use Brandon, you should go use Tyler, and they'll go in, use Trey, use Brandon, use Tyler. And so then that way, you'll see 20 people commenting the same name, and it's that name recognition now of, you see this person tagged 20 times.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing. Also, I know like a lot of groups are overly saturated, or like it's kind of hard to start your own group now at this point. Yeah. But if you do have a Facebook group, there's a lot of ways to be able to brand your group. To, like, if you do have a Facebook group and it's a local community group, having a banner that has your company name on it. We've got a handful of Hunter started one here in the upstate that was started one 10 years ago. And slowly been building it. It's got over 100,000 people at this point.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's all just local people.
That's incredible.
And the way he built it was he started it as a buy-sell trade group, because this was before he was into roofing. He just started a buy-sell trade group. And people, I don't know why, they just are way more likely to join these buy-sell trade groups. But he's got this, and it's still buy-sell trade, but it's got just the Cornerstone banner, and then the pinned message at the bottom is a video introduction to the group made by Hunter.
Incredible.
And so every single person that's going in to go do some sort of buy-sell trade will see the logo. So at the very least, it's just more brand recognition, right?
Yeah.
There's also a lot of ways, if you do have a Facebook group and you're not utilizing it well, there's ways to be able to capture data of people. Like you can put in your questions of like, what's your email? I'd love to send you a free whatever. And you can automate that through your CRM. And you know, there's a program. I'm not going to go into it because I can get super nerdy on this. But if you do have a Facebook group, look up a program called Group Funnels, where you can filter a lot of that data out and push it to your CRM.
Nice. And I want to note too, like for the folks, like because some people won't start a group. I just want to note that like if you're just in one local Facebook group, I'm really suggesting all the nearby cities, like make sure you're joined up in all of them and get your guys involved in all of them, because like and your ladies, like so get them all in there and like go in today. This is one action you can take. Go into the 5 best local Facebook groups in your area and around you and get your 10 people, invite every single one of them to those groups. And I think that like this is not to, you know, once again, I'm not a big like spam the group thing. I'm just being like, we're utility. We are like the referral machine for the good companies that we know and are helping. I mean, that's the mindset, I think.
There's a software that I'm not gonna name them specifically because I work with a lot. You know, obviously with RoofCON, we work with a lot of different vendors and everything. But there's different people in the industry who I've done business with in the past when I ran a roofing company that I just believe in 100%. And anytime that they know I'm going to go recommend them, anytime they see someone asking in these roofing groups, and so they'll just send me a post, you know, and they might send me 2-3 a week. And they know I'm going to go comment their name when someone's looking for this specific type of software. And
that's
so if
incredible.
if you have those people that are your diehard, you know, fans of your company, they're probably not going to mind if you send them a couple a week to, now, you know, if you send them 10 a day, it might be overwhelming. But if you send them a couple a week for them to go comment your company name when it pops up, if they're really, you know, your fans, they should go do that.
Diego, that's an amazing tip. I think like there's a couple tips in here that if they just do that one thing, that's like money for people. So I think, like you're saying, you doing that, and maybe you have like the 10 people that are already doing it, always doing it, excuse me. And you just boom. I love that, Diego. Thank you. I just want to note a few other, because those are my 3. So more referrals from every homeowner, more referrals from insurance agents, and more referrals from Facebook groups. I just want to note a couple other marketing things because I won't be on here for a while, maybe till next year or something. So like my big things I'm also into right now is series on social. So having, let's say, a Wednesday live or whatever, and taking this persona of local weatherman / exterior expert and not always promoting, but always having your logo on. And then you could push those videos. If you're not promoting hardcore, you can push those videos to groups as well. So your local 5 groups, being that local home exterior expert weatherman, you're doing a service at that point and your logo is just available. So I think you can push content that way. And if you do it I like reels and lives right now, 2023. Those are the ones that I think are kind of cutting through the noise. It might change. And then, so that's a big one, content series, like doing something every Tuesday, every Thursday, whatever it happens to be for you, but having it on a rhythm. So you're always doing it and taking that persona of local weatherman, exterior expert. Then I love Google Maps, big fan of Google Maps still. Google Business Profile, just making sure it's super comprehensively filled out. And you can even do products now, so you can feature your 5 best services, you know, as products on the listing, and they're like, it's kind of takes up some big real estate. You want to do your least, the one that you're doing the least of first, because then the last one you do will be the first one that shows on the profile. So maybe you do like roofing and siding last or whatever, roofing and storm damage. But these things, the more you have, the more comprehensively you fill out your Google Business Profile, the better. And then LSAs, if you're not doing local service ads or Google guaranteed, I just always like kind of wonder why people aren't doing that. There are certain cities around the country, let's say like Denver and Dallas and, like really saturated, and you're not going to get much out of them. But like a lot of smaller markets, a lot of medium-sized markets, you can live off of LSAs and Google Guaranteed, depending on the area. Try it at least. If you haven't tried it yet, do it. And it's also a good like just trust badge of Google Guaranteed. So that's all my lead gen stuff I wanted to get through.
We crushed it with Google Guaranteed.
Yeah,
crushed it. So
yeah, it's good.
My other bonus that I'll throw in there. This is shout out to Aaron Christie, Indie Roof Company. He started doing realtor pre-listing inspections for realtors. That's been super huge for me too. Of you go in to these realtors, and a lot of the times the realtors are just calling you because they're trying to close on a house, and the inspection came in, and they say that they have some shingles that need to be changed or something like that. And so I started going up to realtors, and I'd take them to lunch, and I'd say, all right, I'll do pre-listing inspection for you. What we'll do is, we'll look at the house before you list it. We'll look at the roof. If there's storm damage on there, we'll help you go through the claims process, all that stuff, and we'll let you know if we think that insurance will pay for it, and then from there, if they do, then it becomes this win-win for everyone, because it becomes a win for the homeowner because now they're able to list the house at a higher price because they've got a brand new roof on it. It becomes a win for the realtor because the realtor now is making more money on the commission for the house, and they're not having to scramble at the end to get repair work done on something that could have been paid for by the insurance. It becomes a win for the new homeowner because the new homeowner gets the house with a brand new roof, and it obviously becomes a win for us because we get a job out of it. And on top of it, if you let me do a pre-listing inspection and we do the work, then I'll give you, on top of all that, a $250 gift card or whatever. So
that's huge.
So that was huge for us too.
How'd you get that strategy from Aaron Christie? Did you have him on the podcast or something, or that's a?
I haven't had him yet. I met him in 2020. I want to say before that first RoofCON I was involved in. We went up to Indianapolis and just met him there, and kind of randomly he took us up to Topgolf and we just talked for a long time, and he just told us that he was doing that.
He's a great guest on a podcast, so
yeah, I need to have him on.
Yeah, he's sweet.
So cool. I appreciate you hopping on and doing this. And for anyone listening, I mean, we want to hear what what are your strategies that you're equipping your sales staff with? Because I know that, we've just gone through a few of them, but there's more stuff out there. And I guess at the end of the day, the big thing is, there's a lot more out there than just going out and knocking doors. There's a lot of stuff that they can be doing if they're not fully comfortable with that yet, or if that's just not them. And I know it's kind of taboo to some people, and I get, I've almost become like the anti-door knocking person, but it's not the case. Like, I think it's a great tactic for some people, and I think for other people, like Trey at Cornerstone, did 40 roofs the week after this, or 40 contracts the week after this. We just had a hailstorm here. 40 roofs after the storm, or the next 7 days, just from Facebook groups. Yeah.
I want to know too, like, you're talking about, sometimes it doesn't make sense to door knock, right? Like, there's times of the week. What are you doing with your other time? You know what I mean? I get it. That's a good strategy. It is a good strategy, I think. I think for a lot of people, it's a good strategy. So what are you doing with your other time? What are you doing in the evenings and like certain times where you can't door knock? Like, and or
early in the morning.
I'm saying I'm like a little bit of a workaholic. If you have anxiety like me and you want to do something for your business or your sales, if you're like kind of you're relentlessly driven like I am, it's good to find these other things that you can do when you're not able to be out there door knocking. That's kind of what I think of it as.
Well,
too.
the other thing is, you need to have multiple streams of lead generation, because what happens when this was where I went wrong at the roofing company, was we were crushing it with Google local service ads, so we weren't doing anything else. My God, we were getting 15 inspections a day on Google local service ads. So why? And that was with 2 sales reps. So
Yeah.
I had 2 sales reps, and then myself and our ops manager. So between the 4 of us, we were doing. You get 15 inspections a day. That's going to keep you super busy. And so then all of a sudden, we had to, like, I think we renewed, I don't remember what it was, like we renewed our GC license or something, and Google caught that our previous one was expiring, and we didn't upload the new one in time. And so they shut off our Google local service ads. And then we uploaded all the stuff immediately, but it took like 2-3 weeks for it to come back. And so that's just kind of an extreme example. But what happens when one of your lead gen things go down, you know?
And that's the thing is, like, it's an embarrassment of riches sometimes, I say, for roofing companies, that they have one thing that's working really, really well. Like, it can be very dangerous. I just got banned from Facebook. One of the things that triggered me making sure I went on all these podcasts is, like, I'm in 3 weeks into a month of basically being, like, algorithmically stifled on Facebook. And it's like, my memes are getting like 30 likes instead of 100. You know what I mean? And they might just suck. That's a good point, Diego. But no. But here's the thing: is like that is one of my main lead gen sources, though. And if I didn't have 3,000 people on my website every day, which I do, then I would be very concerned right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been very diligent about other things. Even when something's going really, really well, and a lot of people, roofers, it is door knocking. Like, it's going really, really well. Things happen. There's not a storm. Like in Colorado, there was not a storm for 2-3 years. And then all your door knocking stuff is for naught because you're stuck with a retail environment. And so that's why you diversify. There's an embarrassment of riches, and that's beautiful. But let's not just get stuck there. Like, let's have at least one, ideally 2 or 3 other big lead gen sources. Use the money. Like, it's just like when people are in a storm environment, use the money that you're getting, not to buy the boat or the sports car, but to build out retail systems so that when the storm dries up, and I know some people just have constant storms somehow. Congratulations. That's not everybody. We're not all Dallas. You know what I mean? So
yeah, we just went 3 years since the last storm here in Greenville. So
you just build out the retail side, like, and you get better with financing and stuff. So that's the way I think of it.
Anyways. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you hopping on the show. For anyone listening,
I got my question for RoofCON, and so you might have.
Go ahead.
You might have to check into this, like licenses and stuff. But if we did this, I'm going to get the appropriate insurances. So I will purchase the appropriate insurances, and I will make sure that people sign waivers at our booth. So the question is...
I'm already afraid of whatever you're going to tell me you want to do at your booth.
Yeah, exactly. Are you willing... Can you check into this? Are you guys willing to allow us to have a tattoo artist tattooing people with their own logo at our booth? Free tattoos.
I don't mind. Does the Orange County Convention Center mind? I don't know the answer to that. So
I've looked into this enough to know, because they have tattoo conventions where everyone's tattooing. It's usually an insurance, and it's like obviously waiver. So like, but basically I'm asking you to go look, if you can look into that a little bit, and I'll look into what I can do on my side. We will purchase the appropriate insurances and stuff like that. And I've already got the guy that I'm thinking of. So
I will definitely, I'll get with Jenna, our events director, and I will get her to check in on that. That would be super fun. And
we'll probably do a discount too for people if they get the hook. If they get the hook logo tattooed, we'll probably give them a fat discount on services, by the way.
That's genius. We might, let's look into this. We'll look into this. Hopefully, by the time that this episode comes out, we'll have a definite answer, and I'll put it on the screen down here. Yeah. It'll say yes, we do, or no, we don't yet.
I mean, it's a wild idea, but they do have tattoo conventions too, where people are all tatting each other. So there must be something. Amazing. Yeah.
Well, all right, we're going to do some bonus content after this. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. If you're listening right now, go over to YouTube, watch the actual video version of this. But so we're going to sign off right now and then do the bonus content. But Tim, I appreciate you hopping on.
Yes,
And for anyone that wants to check you guys out, where do they go?
hookagency.com and Hook Agency all over social. And then if you want to follow my personal account for memes, it's facebook.com/invigorated. And I do a lot of roofing memes, and it's also on Instagram as Roofer Memes. And collaborate with me. If you're a vendor or a roofer with good meme ideas, collaborate with the account. I'll accept the collaboration if it doesn't suck entirely.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning into the Rise Above show. Peace out.
See ya.